Hola, Animigos, and welcome to Keyframers, the animated collaborative coding livestream where we bring imaginative user interfaces to life. I'm your host, Stephen Shaw, but you may know me as @Shashaw.
And I'm your host, David Khourshid, also known as @DavidKPiano.
Together we are coding compadres, animation amigos, Boolean buddies, and keyframe companions.
Yeah, so we'll be creating an animation from scratch live using HTML, CSS, and a bit of JavaScript, but only because we're working on an existing React application.
Yes. This show is made possible by your support. You can pledge at patreon.com/keyframers. Hit the like and subscribe buttons around below, around the video. And we've got some additional links below, including merch, like this lovely CSS shirt that I'm wearing. You'll want to check that out at keyframe.rs/merch or find the link below. And yeah, pick something up.
Yeah, and as always, we're happy to answer any questions that you might have on the show. So please just reach out in the chat or the comments and let us know what's on your mind.
Hit us up. We're open. And if you're watching this later on YouTube and are a little short on time, you can skip ahead to the animation summary using the timestamp link for Keyflections in the description below. If you're joining us live, hey, thanks so much. Happy to have you here. Thanks for coming along for the journey. All right, should we dive in?
Yeah, let's dive in.
Okay, let's see what we're working with today. So a little bit different today. We do have a animation we're kind of inspired by and looking at, but the idea here today is how do we add some of these animations into an existing React app. So David's done some heavy lifting here to get to do a to-do app put together for us in React, and we'll briefly go over that, but we'll mostly be focusing on how to add animation in between all these state changes and how we take it from there. So thanks to how do you pronounce JSON for the iPhone X to-do concept. Anyway, the link is there. Thank you so much for that. We definitely like that. All right, you wanna show us what you built?
Yeah. So there's not too much styling done in here, and we're going to be doing a lot of styling with this on the show. But we are working on, it's called the iPhone X To Do concept. It was made by, Josine Zhang. And it's really cool just because take your typical To Do MVC app. And if you're not familiar with To Do MVC, honestly, it's very basic, and it's not really how you would program a To Do MVC app in general, just because there's a lot of things missing. There's like, how do you group to-dos together? How do you save them or persist them to a database? But in terms of learning how to use a framework, it's very, very straightforward. So I'll post a link to that in the chat, and that's a To Do MVC app. But
oh yes.
Yeah, so what I did was I created a React app for this iPhone X To Do concept, which I think we're on iPhone 11 or something, right?
iOS 13 is the...
iOS 13, but whatever version of an iPhone.
Oh, the iPhone 11, yeah.
Yeah. I don't have an iPhone, so, I wouldn't know. However, this animation seems really, really interesting. There's a lot of moving parts, and typically you don't have the luxury of starting completely from scratch, and sometimes you need to add animations to an existing project no matter which framework it's built in. And so that's what we're going to be tackling today. And that's why I wrote a few state machines, have a few to-dos going on there. And those are deeper concepts that we'll, maybe go over on the show or maybe talk about later.
Yeah. You'll hear us talk about them plenty.
Oh yeah.
If you go back and check other episodes, for sure. If we don't get into it today. So yeah, you've got a nice little to-do app for us here. Nothing to write home about in the looks department so far, but functionality-wise, you can select a list, a to-do list from the bottom here. You click in. You've got your to-dos. You can check things off. You can create a new to-do, and it adds it to that list. So a great example of a to-do app within React.
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff here, it's just the typical sort of thing that we did in previous episodes with regard to using CSS Grid and also using views. So, or like the idea of views or scenes or whatever you want to call them. And so we have 3 over here. We have data view equals home. So, using data attributes for that, data view equals to-dos.
Where are you? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I'm in the JS. I should say I'm in the HTML, but it's HTML and JS. So.
Around what line are you? 284? Here you are. Okay.
All the lines, yeah. I could do class name equals view, although we don't really need that. And yeah, one weird thing about React, it's class name, not class. So
that'll trip you up.
Yeah, and so with this, you could click around and add to-dos to specific categories. Still need to add a little bit of styling. So, but if you look back at the original animation, there's a lot of flippy stuff going on here, and so that's some of the stuff that I would really like to explore.
Yeah. Right, the transition from the overview to the individual lists is great, and then there's a lot going on there. So yeah, what would you like to tackle first?
So let's tackle. Well, let's get some flip in there, and so with that, let's the card interaction, when you click a card, it goes from...
Any card?
It goes from the smaller card and it expands up to the bigger card. Now, normally this would be a challenge because your card, since the dimensions of the card is not exactly the same as the dimensions of the phone, you're going to get some stretching and weird transforms going on if you decide to transform the whole thing. But like we covered in previous episodes, we could work around that by not transforming the whole card and instead transforming a background element. So let me just get some styles for the card. Do I even have... Yeah, here we go. Background color, we'll just say it's white. Border radius 1 rem, not 1 m, unfortunately. All right, so we have some cards over there.
Yeah.
This could probably be even 0.5 rem. It's a very subtle little thing. And then we could have like a box shadow, 0, 1 rem, 1 rem, black, 0.2, or something like that.
Yeah.
That works.
That's okay. Very nice.
So the idea is that when we click work, and I'm actually going to add just a background color to work just so that we could really visualize what's going on over here. To the data view to-dos, if I say background color is white, then you'll really see what we're trying to do over there. So actually, data view to-dos, that view should ideally cover the entire thing, or it doesn't really need to.
So let's see. This is on the view, data view home. Okay, so you have individual grid templates for each view. Let me switch to...
Yeah, I do. And we're using grid template areas, which I found a nice rhythm with. Like, I actually feel pretty comfortable with that. Like, once you get the hang of it and you do a few of them, then there's no turning back from using grid template areas. It's just so much nicer to work with.
It is. Being able to... so the grid template areas, a lot of tutorials, you'll see it kind of spelled out like David has the grid template rows up here, where it's auto 1FR and then slash for like rows and all that, and it just gets wild. But if you use grid template areas, you can actually use keywords for each of the areas, and then you just tell the element what grid area it's supposed to fill. So here there's so for the to-dos, so there's a 2-column, 3-row grid that we're working with. If we look at that closer, you can actually see that grid broken up, but then each of them is placed in that area rather easily. Hey, Lacoste.
Yeah.
Thanks. So yeah.
So let's get flipping. And want to try this without a library? Or is that
I think we should probably try to simplify as much as we can, given the already complexity.
Let's use a library then. My library. I guess we could go ahead and use flipping for this. So flipping, if you don't know, flipping is an animation technique where we take the original position of an element and the final position of an element and do all of the simple math. I was going to say fancy math, but it is really simple math, and make the illusion that we are transforming from the original elements to the final elements. So that might involve things like translation or scaling, or just something where it's smoothly animating from one state to another state. So let's see, package.
Yeah. So far we have React and React DOM in here to power the app, and then XState is in there handling all the state machine pieces, and then David needed to tweak the XState React plugin a little bit. So that's what this other external resource is. You can go to that pin and see the exact code. It's just a little tweak from the main thing to get it all working. And now David's included flipping in here.
Did it work?
Flipping is not defined. Where did you add flipping?
I thought I added it to the web thing. I think we have another pen where we did use flipping. So
yeah, let me make sure that package exists. It does, but you weren't using the raw link.
Oh,
that should work.
I keep forgetting that. Okay.
Yeah, that'll get you. Unpackage has a browse view and it has the raw view. So switch that over to raw, and now it's working. All right. So if you haven't run across flipping.js yet, it's amazing. Flipping.js.org, right? That won't get you there. Flipping.js is pretty fantastic. David's put it together, and it'll help us maintain kind of element positions when switching between these views.
And again, it's a simplification of us doing it manually, but the concepts are still the same whether you decide to do them manually or you decide to use a helper library. So we could add, it's been a while actually since I used this data flip key. There we go.
That's right.
And so the data flip key is going to be the
on the card.
Well, yeah, the card background though. Right. Or I guess, the background.
Yeah, we'll want one on the title and the background. So let's see. So data groups card. All right. And so what David's doing is creating a background element because we want to element the background and the content separately. And so this could be h1 data flip key equals title.
So I'll call this background dash the group, just because it's for each individual group.
Right. I was wondering how we do that. There we go. Yeah. .group.id.
And then we need a Oh, is it group.id? Yeah, it is. I should know I wrote the thing. Okay, so we have our background elements, but we're not really styling it yet. So let's do that real quick. So .bg, we're just going to move the background color to that one and also give it a position absolute because I'm too lazy to do the grid trick. Top 0, let's 0, 100%, height 100%, background color, and it should fill it up. There we go, fills it up. And so border radius, I guess I could have done inherits, but that's okay. Okay, so my screen disappeared.
I'm fixing some of the JavaScript, or adding the flip keys in the JavaScript.
Okay.
Okay, right, so we need the background.
And we also need a, background, so you could just add that.
Yeah. Div class name equals bg. Data flip key equals. Copy.
So it's going to be bg in the group.
Yeah.
Or, well, yeah, bg.
Here we go.
Cool, so now we just need to add the styles for that, which is, let's see, we have view, and then the view, not the framework. So I wonder if they call things views in view. That would be really confusing.
So yeah, you're gonna add the background there. So we'll remove background color here.
Yeah.
And then the box shadow should be on the BG here. Most likely. Right. And are you changing the JavaScript?
Yeah, so that when you, okay, so let's see if this works first of all.
Where are you?
Flipping that wrap is for the function. Man, it's like I'm relearning my own library. So
well, you've got a new version coming soon, right?
I do, and it's a lot simpler than this one, but for now we're using this one. Okay, so flipping.wrap returns a function, which makes sense. So we have,
where are you?
I am on line 251, 252.
Okay.
One of those.
Yeah. Okay. Group.select. Should we just do a flipping.wrap around send itself?
No.
Like overriding send? No.
No, let's do it piecemeal for now. All right, so it is, I think I still have a background on the view. So I think that's what's going on over there, view. Unless we got rid of it.
I commented it out. Let's see. So, yeah, I don't know.
Is it the same key? Let's make sure it's the same key. Because that's how flipping works. It recognizes that things are the same key. So we have data flip key equals btree group ID. You know what? Okay, this is, yeah. It might not work if the thing doesn't exist ahead of time.
Oh, right.
So, but there's a little trick we could do. Hidden equals one of my favorite tricks. So let's try this for now.
We'll have to add that to home too, is probably.
Yeah, but I mean,
eventually.
For now, it's just going to be on top of each other. I'm not seeing anything now. Because
yeah, there you go.
Do the whole fragmenty stuff. So yeah, okay. Take two. We'll add that in post.
So David was adding a fragment. Problem is, I don't know that cannot read ID of null.
What ID?
So I'm using the state.context.group ID. Because that doesn't exist.
That there's a group. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So quickly thinking through this. This might be a limitation. Well, actually, all right, so flipping should definitely work for this, even though it doesn't exist. Oh, I think we have to do a, hold on. Let's see, flipping equals new flipping dot wrap. And then all right, I have another React example. Let me look for it real quick. One second.
Do we just need to, in this function, do a flipping.read and then do the send and then request animation frame flipping.flip? Or is that what wrap is supposed to do?
So wrap returns a function. So let's see.
Right. Let me try that really quick.
I am furiously searching for the correct pen. Okay. With the flip technique should be in there. All right, let's see what I did wrong. Okay, so I have this pen, which I will post in the chat, and that pen demonstrates the flip technique. So, and it is also using React and also state machines, but that doesn't matter. So, okay, this flipping goes on, this flipping read, this flipping. Oh, okay. So instead of flipping.wrap, we could, let's just do that. We're going to manually use flipping.read and flipping.flip, which is great because those map directly to the concepts that we want to talk about anyway. So flipping.read, we're getting the position of basically all of the elements, and then flipping.flip is, what happens. Well, yeah, it's
still not working. But maybe a set timeout. Is it because it's rendering before before we do the flipping.flip?
Well, no. I mean that shouldn't be a concern. Hold on. By the way, I do have a backup method if that doesn't work. So we have data flip key equals BG group ID. Data flip key equals BG. Okay. So we have flipping.read, send, group, select, and then for the app, we're going to use effect. Or I guess I had to do React, I use effect. And this is going to be flipping.flip. And that's pretty much going to happen every single time. So it still doesn't work. Well, also, let's be sure that we're using the same thing. So data flip key, we have that BG. Data flip key, that's BG. State context group ID. Okay.
Yeah, that's weird.
That is weird. It'll work. Like, honestly, we get this one thing working and the rest of it is just going to fall into place really, really easily. So, you know what? I'm going to inspect the HTML too and make sure that we have the right, the right data elements. So we have BG work, and over here we have BG undefined.
BG undefined.
Yes. So okay, so this this BG should be BG data state.context.group, because group is a string in the state.context because I'm referencing the group.
Okay.
I should have named it better, but silly mistake. And then magic.
Ta-da!
Okay, it's working.
Kind of.
kind of is correct. But all right, so we have the work thing also doing something a little weird. And that is to be expected. So the reason it's doing that is because we're scaling. It's detecting scale. It's like, okay, the width of this is a little bit different. And there's two ways that we could solve this. We could either use data, or not data, we could say display inline block, which means it's only going to take the width that it needs. In fact, let's try that. Because right now it's thinking that it's wider than it should
it's
be.
in a grid area, so I don't know that that's quite an option.
Well, I mean, a grid area doesn't necessarily mean it needs to stretch to its entire content. But there's another thing that we could use, which is, and I believe I have this. Well, no, you don't need to put it in a div. I think I have a quick fix. So data flip, no scale. That might work. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Aha. There we go.
Kind of. On the way back, it doesn't. So we need to add that to the
exactly
to the original title as well.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a data attribute configuration option that you've added to flipping.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Here's the documentation for that. Yeah. So basically, then it's only looking at the position of the element to animate it back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so we have other things like this overflow craziness, but at least we got the flipping part working.
Yes.
Thankfully.
Should we try flipping.wrap instead of the use effect?
That should probably work now.
Hopefully to simplify it.
Yeah. So I guess, we don't need to react to use effect flipping.flip. That's a little bit excessive. And all we have to do is flipping.wrap. And it doesn't work anymore. Probably because I took out that flipping.flip. So let's undo that and try again.
Flip.
Okay,
Yeah,
that works.
There we go.
Yes, I need it. So all you really need is flipping.read for that. And so the reason for that is because it tries to apply the animation immediately, but because of how React works, React defers the rendering. So it renders when it wants to. It doesn't render immediately or after set request animation frame. Instead, it's going to be like, you know what, I'll just re-render when I want to. And so that's why, we have to do, so in this case, we have to get rid of this just for now. So we have to flipping.read, and then we have to send group select. And so that should work. Should be the keyword. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we have things moving around.
Yeah, the back animation is weird.
Here's a result from search.
Yeah, so the back animation is because of this overflow hidden, and that could be solved by using CSS grid. So, or actually not overflow hidden. We have overflow X scroll on the cards,
right.
And so that's going to mean that overflow Y is hidden for some reason.
Yeah, that's a very old CSS problem.
Yeah. So in the next version of flipping, you could be able to detect using CSS variables that it is moving, and when it is moving, you could get rid of any overflows or whatever until it stops moving, and then you could just apply those onto there. But for now, what we could do is we could stretch the cards up a little bit, and what that means is, where's my cards? So we have a cards thing, and I'm saying grid area cards, but instead of that, we could just have that be the entire thing, sort of. So we could say grid row 1, -1. I'm sure there's an easier way to do this. Grid column 1, -1. Okay. Now the problem is that's going to take the whole thing, so we have to display grid that, itself. So this is like a grid on top of the grid. So display grid,
and
template.
And this is where subgrid would come in very, very handy. Support's very limited. I think Firefox just rolled it out, but nobody else really has it yet. Grid template rows. Okay, and then
wait. So the cards need a flow to the
basically.
right, so I don't need display grid. I just need like a ton of padding or something.
Yeah, padding top, but that's going to be based on the width, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that messes with it. We could do a card max height 50%, and then we've got display flex. Yeah, let's take off the grid here. Display flex, and then align items. Line items flex end. If you spell it correctly, that'll work. Bam.
Aha, beautiful.
I think that'll mean that none of our other things will work. But
they work. Everything works fine.
All right.
Cool. All right, so we had those, we have to-dos to add. We have to-dos to do. Yeah. So I'm taking a look back at the animation and seeing what else there is. So there's that. There's also all of those to-dos being, just, it's weird. It's doing this sort of fade in, but stretch animation at the same time. And then you have that new to-do button that just sort of pops out, which is pretty cool and also pretty easy to do.
Yeah. So what would be your approach?
For which part?
For the, just triggering the animation on all of them.
Yeah, so let's tackle the to-dos. The great part about this is that you could add just a normal animation, like a CSS keyframe animation, because with this one, they don't exist. The elements don't exist. So once they come into existence, they're going to play that animation immediately. So that sort of works out. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're using another technique where they are in there, then you could still use a selector. Like if it's not hidden, then do the animation. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So could go ahead and do that. I'll give the to-dos a little bit of style. Or are you? Oh yeah, you're doing it down there.
Yeah, just to. Right. All right. So animation list in. We'll do like 1 second. These in out for now.
I'll add to do down here. Okay, let's see what we're working with. By the way, as always, Shaw and I use GIF Scrubber, especially for this one. This one was created in, I want to say 2018 or 2019. It's been around for a while, but I've always been set on wanting to do it just because it's such a complex animation and there's a lot of things going on. So we could display.
What's the default duration in flipping?
0.3 seconds.
3 seconds. So we could probably do an animation.
Yeah, in
delay.
flipping V1. In V2, it's 3.1415. Just kidding.
Okay. Transform, origin, top, center.
Oh, let's see, flex direction row, justify content, flex starts, which means it's going to start horizontal axis, then align items center, which align item center has been my favorite one, probably the rule set of the decade.
Yeah. It is the perfect way to center things.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you do that. They come in, perfect. 500 is a bit too big. What is our font size here? Even it's like
I have no idea.
Yeah, and so we also have that new to-do button, which is, we have this new to-do button, which that's also going to animate into, and so I guess we could do dot, well, it's the button, and we could scale that in. So animation name. You see what I'm doing? I'm inheriting. So I'll just call this button in, and frames button in.
You gotta explicitly inherit there.
This button is saying, I'm sorry, I'm button in.
Don't mind me.
Scale 0 to transform.
Well, so is button actually nested in to-dos?
Good question. No.
Because I think under data view.
Data
view
right. You're
to-dos.
Right. Okay. So we're gonna move that to what is it? The to-dos data view.
Yeah.
Except.
Well, we probably just want it down here with the other stuff.
There's already a button new to do.
Button
here, so.
I know, but I like to group.
Button.
Let's see. Try that. Button in.
I keep going to the HTML view, hoping that I'll see something that I could work on, but there's nothing there.
I know. Yeah, that's one problem with JSX.
Yep. I mean, there are a few problems with JSX, but
last name being top among them. Bless you.
Thank you. Did you hear that, or did you see that?
I saw it.
Okay, I thought I needed it just in time for that. Okay, so I have a to-do form component. I'm just getting the button ready for let's see, button. Okay. I'm glad we figured out that flipping issue before it really got us.
Flipping issue.
Yes.
Button.new to do. Why is that? So I tried to set a background on that, but it's.
Oh, are you doing the BG for the button?
For the button, yeah. Just
okay.
I was trying to. Oh, it's still. Let's see. So yeah, a lot of times in those cases, I don't specify a to. So yeah.
Okay.
That is strange. So button. Save and flip over to debug view, and CodePen debug view allows you to get just the executed code without any iframes or anything like that. Okay, so you did a BG. Oh, okay. Is there a reason you did a BG in the button? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we're gonna. That's gonna be the fun animation.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to figure that out. So.
Yeah. And we'll probably need to call it after that. Okay. Border. Yes. Inherit. Get those going. Yeah. All right. Now it's working as expected. All right.
Awesome.
And so here we'll do data flip key equals. We'll just do new to do BG. New to do plus, and then we'll go down into our data. Okay, so to do form
button.
That's what we want to look at.
I had a button in here. I don't know where it went. Oh, because it's in the form.
Yeah, to do form is here. So We'll add that data flip key, new to do BG, and new to do plus. Actually, we should probably make that new to do label just to be a little clearer. In case you want to, use a minus sign for new to do. I don't know. Okay.
All right, I'm trying to do the layout for that form, but I am messing up somewhere. So we have a to-do form. It should be, oh wait, it's not even all right, so display grid. That would probably be a good start, just having that be display grid.
Okay, so we also need to do the flipping.read in front of the send for to-do.new to get that working. Okay, something happened. Okay, so you're still doing the layout for the new to-do area?
Yeah, and okay. Let's see. So for the new to-do, it's still going to be 2rem1fr. So you click that, and then... Okay, so yeah, that new to-do button, or sorry, the... there's a small new to do button and there's a big new to do button. So we have button new to do, and we'll call the other one button submits to do or save to do, something like that.
Well, why don't you add just another qualifying class on it?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm gonna do button and then dash save to do. So we have button new to do, and then over here top button dot save to do, and dot bg. The background is going to also be blue. I don't know why we're going with plain blue, but it makes things easier.
We just haven't.
But hold on, the background is blue for the button.
Right.
Let me get rid of it. Haha. So the button stretches. It does its thing. That's good.
Yeah. Not bad. Got something happening at least.
Yeah, and it is going to the correct area. And we could also, like, if we really wanted to, we could animate that. Oh, wow, I didn't realize that the text field was that big. That's huge. Okay, some reworking to do there, but it's just a matter of styling.
So let's see. Should just be the one for that.
Yeah, I think it's just because I got lazy with display grid. So, yeah, it's probably what that was.
All right, so that's at least something.
All right, so when you click the button, we have a new to-do view, or like the, I guess the form and everything sort of just slides up. Thinking about that, we don't have to worry about the keyboard because it's a keyboard. So okay.
So it looks like the checked state is not maintained. Don't know if that's important.
Probably not. Also, they do disappear. So, maybe it is.
What is
that? I only wrote class says, David K, can you stop following me around bad enough that YouTube suggests me your talks and now you're on Full Stack Radio? Yep, I did a thing on Full Stack Radio where I talked about state machines, of course. Yeah. By the way, if you want to get an intro to just the library we're using for this one, I'll post it in the chat. It's called Flipping again, and here's an article on it via CSS Tricks. So right now we're working on that final view over there, because that's the one view where I forgot to put a grid type thing. So And it's a little bit weird because we have a form nested inside of a view. So that's something we'll have to deal with.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. We have data view to do. We have the form in there. Let's make this 3 rem right there. And so let me take a look inside the form. And honestly, we didn't need to do too much to the existing React code. We didn't need to change any logic around or the way that we were doing anything. All we did was add a few data attributes to help out. And so those same sort of ideas can be carried over to, to whatever React project you have. Data attributes, they're really, really powerful things.
They are.
Right, so we have this input. Let's also have a label. What do you need to do? Okay, but the input is huge. So yeah, we need to have a grid thing for the, yeah, okay. Where's the form? All right. That sucks. Whenever I search for form, it shows me transform. Not Copen's fault. It's literally just me. So we have label, input button, and that's going to be, we'll just say 2 rem. I don't know how you do empty space, but whatever. Do that. Okay, so now the form should look nicer. Sort of. Well, we actually have to, so the label gets a grid area of label, of course. The input gets a grid area of input. And we're being lazy right now. We're just being semantic, which is like a step above lazy, really.
It looks like the layout's right. It's just that X is...
I think over here, too, we have grid template columns, grid template rows. It's just 1FR, when in reality, this should be 2 things. It should be like auto and then 1FR, something like that. So let's try that. There we go. See?
Ah.
Yes. And then we could have like, if the grid template columns is 2 rem and 1FR, we could do grid template areas. And so we have that side space and the, well, actually, no. Yeah, we have the side space and the header. And we also have the side space and we'll just call it the form.
Do we need that?
Yes, I'll show you. Grid area form. And so now, yeah, so all I have to do is put the header in the header area, and it works. Header, grid area, header. Did I hear a guitar?
There is a plane flying by.
Okay, sounds like a guitar. Don't know why.
So where is new to do?
Header. Sort of works.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably have that H1 in there.
Sure.
Cool. And then, the form. Okay. So, columns 2 rem and FR, and then this is going to just be side, except the button takes up the entire thing. And then over here, this is going to be form, right side. So one of the things that tripped me up about CSS Grid, if you want something where you're not necessarily going to use, it still has to be named where they're touching each other. So if you have side, something side, you can't have those 2 sides be separate from each other. So you have to name the other one something else. I know it's a little bit weird. So actually this could be form. Just because we need that entire space there. Close enough.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
All right. Is there one last piece you'd like to tackle of the animation? I gotta call it in just a moment.
All right. Let's see. I think that like what we did definitely merits. And whoa, now the button is small.
Oh, because it needs to fill up that last column.
Yeah. There we go.
Nice.
Awesome. So, I think what we did so far definitely merits an explanation that, we should really cover. So,
do you
want to
wanna
dive into it?
Dive into Keyflections?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, let me get set up for the keyflecting here. All right. We're now moving into the part of the show known as Keyflections, a quick review of the techniques used to build this animation. If you have any questions, ask us in the chat or leave a comment below, and we'll be happy to answer.
Also, if you've enjoyed watching us so far, you could follow and subscribe here on Twitch or YouTube, or pledge at patreon.com/keyframers, and the links are available right below.
Yes, you'll want to check out the keyframe.rs/merch link for sweet swag. Is that something the kids say?
Sweet swag.
Sweet swag.
It's lit, fam.
Yeah. Yes. All right. So today we've been discussing adding animation to an existing React app. Most of the time you're not starting from scratch. You want to enhance. And so David took the time to build a basic to-do app with state machines and some beautiful code in there. You should go check that out when we have the links for that. If you're watching on YouTube, it's down below. And then we use this iPhone X to-do concept to kind of bring this to life. So we wanted to recreate a few of the pieces here. So yeah, what do you want to cover first?
Well, the main thing we want to cover is what we did with the flip technique over here. And there's two parts to how we did it. I'll talk about the card thing first. So originally, if you look at, I guess I'm on line 257 or so, we had cards, but the card background was not on a separate element. It was actually on the card. In order to make things easier, we moved the background to a separate element, and then we used the flipping library in order to make that card expand and go from the smaller view to the bigger view. So how that works, just real quick, is that this flipping library, it reads this element by the flip key. And so in this case, it's bg-group ID, which in this case is either work or home or whatever the other one was. Work or home or
personal.
Personal, there we go. Okay, so what it's going to do is it's going to read the elements rectangle and using get bounding client rect, and it's going to get the top, left, width, heights, basically everything it needs to know to animate that position between views. And so once you go to a different view, there is a React hook at the top line 237, React use effect, and we call flipping.flip. So now that we read the position, the original position of that card, when we call flipping.flip, things have changed at this point. So now this state.matches home, that might no longer exist. So this data view home might not exist, and instead we might have this to-dos view. And so this to-dos view has a data flip key with the exact same key as the element we just read, which is that bg dash whatever. And so it reads the position of that, and then it creates the illusion that that element was in the original position. So it'll shrink it down, it'll translate it, and it'll pretend like it didn't move yet. And then using the Web Animations API, at least in this version of flipping, it's going to transform and translate all of that to 0. And that way, that's the whole invert part of the flip technique. And so that's going to animate that to its resting position, the position that it should be at.
Yes, and that's happening for both the label and the background. So you get both of those elements moving, the text and the background. And by splitting out the background, it's not going to stretch the text or cause any issues there. It can move those elements separately, like layering, essentially.
Yeah. Now, you don't have to use a library to do this. It just makes things a little bit easier. And there's plenty of videos where we talk about how to use this technique without a library.
Yes, and lots of good articles out there as well. We'll have those links down below. Yeah. So that's most of the movement happening right there. We also did a little animation, so when the to-do list is actually coming in, you can kind of see that happening there. My machine's lagging because of the stream, but when you click on that, the to-dos animate in, much like the inspiration animation. You can see those kind of fading and scaling in as well. So the way we accomplish that is CSS Animations. Since these elements are being added to the DOM for the first time, thanks to our React setup, so this view is only being rendered if the state matches to-dos. So the first time that enters, that'll be in the DOM is when that view switches to it. So we just have a CSS animation list in happening. So it's from opacity 0 and transform scale Y and translate Y to give it a little bit of movement. And you can play with the delays and all of that. This is a great way to just add a little bit of movement to your React app if you want an entrance animation. Entrance animations are super easy just by adding a CSS animation to it. Once it's added to the DOM, that animation will trigger. And the same thing for the button that pops up down here. That's just another CSS animation.
Yes.
All right.
And I think that's the meat of it. I mean, it's a lot to cover in under an hour, but yeah. I encourage you to go back. We have several other episodes where we've talked about React and animating in React, that they're great. And we also have several on flipping. Off the top of your head, do you have any recommendations for those, David? For flipping? We articles or videos?
Videos, episodes we've done centered on flipping.
Yeah, we did a recent one, or at least one earlier this year if you count negative, but it was late last year. I'm confusing myself at this point. But let me find one. There was one, the one that we did with the grid. We had a photo gallery, and this is just your typical gallery that you might see where you tap an image and that image will go full screen, and then it goes back down to not full screen, partial screen, grid screen.
Which one was that? Oh, the flip image gallery. Okay, I've got the link for that.
Yes.
Let me post that.
That's the one
in the chat. Flip photo gallery. That one is fantastic. That one turned out really lovely.
And to remember, that one doesn't use any. Well, actually, it does use the Web Animations API. So maybe in the next episode, we'll talk about how you could use CSS variables, for instance, to do the same flipping technique without using a library. So
yeah,
that's a good one to reference.
Yeah, I dig that one. That was a great one. All right. Well, yeah, all the other animations that we did today are variations of those concepts. So go back and watch the full thing if you want to understand a little bit more. And David also walks through more of what's happening with the full React app. But if you have any questions, leave us a comment, and we'll be happy to answer those. Anything else, David?
Nope. I think that's it.
All right, well, let's land this plane. You've been watching Keyframers. If you've enjoyed this episode and would like to see more from David and I, there are many ways you can support us. First, pledge at patreon.com/keyframers. That helps us keep the lights on and supports us every month. That is awesome. Thank you so much to our patrons. We love you guys. Love you all. And you can also visit our merch store at keyframe.rs/merch. You can get awesome shirts like this and stickers and other things as well. And then like and subscribe at youtube.com/keyframers. That's where we have all our past videos that we've discussed, and you'll find this one there soon.
Yeah. And of course, we accept submissions for future episodes. This episode, I decide to toss my hat into the ring, whatever that means. So tweet at Keyframers with any animations that you would like to see made. And of course, you could also present questions or challenges, and we'll try to answer them on the air as best as we can. And so please be sure to share this video and this demo across all of your social platforms.
Yes. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. Until next time, adios, amigos.
Adios.